going to dump into the rump and talk about the croup, the quarters, and the shape of the pelvis as determining the shape of the rump. Now, jump on over to YouTube right now, and you can see this in real time as Mike is talking about it here, because you've got some visuals over there. So why we're talking about the croup, and as Mike moves his Pictionary book over, we're talking about the croup and the point of the croup, and this is now what we're going to determine the size of the rump, or the shape of the rump. And why is this important, Mike?
Well, the shape of the rump is very important. You know, as far as the cock of the the pelvis itself is cocked out behind the horse. That's going to make for a flatter on top rump. You want a nice round rump, and you know, even as far as the rump, your angulation from your hip point down to your stifles, you don't want that to be straightened out too much. You want enough angle there, because if that's straightened out, you have some, you know, too straight and stifle, then you lead into a different set of issues.
And if you want to see this visual, you have to go over to YouTube and see this, but we'll try to explain it as best as possible.
You know, there was a point in my career when I was doing a fair amount of Arabian work, and you know, they're going to be shaped a little different in the back end, and as far as how to deal with what's going on, it's going to be a little different. But you know, they're sport horses; they were working dressage, and but you know, you have some horses going to be flatter crouped. You've got, you know, horses that are, we would call goose rumped, which is not anything that that you would want. You'd probably see more goose rumps than long backed horses, and then, well, you might see a ewe-neck in the same horse. But you know, just a nice muscled in hindquarters. You don't want it flatten up top. You want it built in. And
so out of those 4 pictures there, you have A, B, C, and D. What's a good rump to have? What's the ideal rump? Or are those all bad that we're looking at there?
Well,
or these are just different sizes for different...
These are different sizes, different shapes.
What's the ideal one to have? A, B, C, or D?
Well, you know, I grew up around more quarter horsey types, and you're probably going to be shaped a little bit more like A, hopefully. Or, you know, some of them are going to be shaped like D, but that's not necessarily great either, because if you lose, you're losing muscle in there. But a nice, even round flow, you don't want the point of the croup looking like this sticking up real high.